Dave's on the board.
Well, once it's confirmed that they were drinking scotch, not wine, the score is going to be even.
Yeah, if that's confirmed, then yes, it'll be 2-2. It'll be 2-up. This is all we need to do is just start an arbitrary scoring system now. I did like some of the comments. Wow, he like the side conversations that he was kind of forced into by the elderly clients that he is calling.
That's just humorous to me.
Like, I'm not sure where that noise is coming from. His last call is Mr. Yellowitz, who kind of sees him as a hero because he was a pilot of a B-29, and it's implied that he watches Jimmy's pilot veteran commercial every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
I wonder if he was in the Memphis Belle.
He may be. Mr. Yellowitz is his name.
But it makes Jimmy realize I have commercials I need to pull off the air because he's not allowed to advertise as a lawyer for 12 months.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I even drew a little rain cloud with a lightning bolt, and it says brainstorm. So I don't know why my notes this year have just gotten ridiculous. They're just full of pictures and like shapes. Jeff and I were recording A Plumbus Among Us, the Rick and Morty podcast coming out soon. So we were recording that. But for some reason, when I was doing my shorthand for A Plumbus Among Us, it's different than when I do it Saul Goodman. So we had to keep pausing because I was like, well, when I do it Saul Goodman, when I square something off, that's like a side thought into why somebody is doing something. Whereas in the other podcast, when I square something off, it's almost like somebody said it like a direct quote.
Right.
So I kept getting confused because it just means two different things to me in two different shows. So I need to work on that.
When I put down direct quotes, I use quotation marks.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Like a normal person.
You know, like a person who's graduated like 5th grade English.
Exactly.
All right, Francisca, get me KWBV. I need. He's looking for the manager. He's looking to pull the commercial ASAP.
Right.
I wasn't sure where they were going with that at first. I didn't even have any ideas. I was like, oh, he's going to try to play it legit, but then they, later on they start explaining.
I kind of did once he said, "Get me the manager." KWBB. At first, I was like, "Okay, B-29 guy inspires Jimmy for a new commercial or something." Mm-hmm. And then I was like, "Oh wait, no, he can't advertise as a lawyer, so he's probably trying to get it pulled off the air."
He had 9 airings left at $4,000. That's like $440 something a commercial.
I don't know. I think that's a pretty reasonable price.
Yeah, that's not bad. Not bad for that size of market.
Adjust for inflation, it's probably $480 by today's dollars.
Mm-hmm. Okay. They pretty much comes up with the loophole. He's pretty much reselling the commercial time for free because what he's charging for is to make the commercial.
That's lawyerins. Yeah, he's not allowed to resell it because at first I was like, why doesn't he sell this shit to Kim? Right. It seemed like Kim was hinting at it, like, hey, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You got some extra airtime, buddy. And then, so his loophole is to sell the labor to produce the commercial and then just give them or air it in his spot for no fee.
Yeah, pretty crafty. It is good to see the film crew return.
Yeah, I love their attitudes because they kind of have shitty attitudes, but they're kind of doing it for the experience and a little bit of cash. Mm-hmm. But yeah, those little snotty little college kids.
They're trying to figure out where they go because he couldn't quite convince the carpet store people to make a commercial at right that moment.
Yeah,
and
you have 15 minutes to decide.
I thought it was going to work too. Yeah, I thought it was going to show off his expert skill in manipulating.
Yeah, like when he started walking to the car, I thought he was going to be like, all right, we got 15 minutes to get this thing made. I thought that was going to be the next line.
I do like how they were going back and forth after. By the way, Julian Bonfiglio, it's good to see him again.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we did have a conversation with him while he was down in New Orleans.
Yeah, guest on our show. Look it up. Look it up. I enjoyed when they were going through how they were going to make the commercials now, and the makeup girl. He starts auditioning the crew.
Yeah,
and he's trying to wing it off the top of his head. I don't know the character's name, but not who Julian Bonfiglio plays, and not the girl,
the camera guy.
the camera guy, where he pretty much threatens him. He's like, "Well, look, I'm getting my $100 no matter what." Like,
okay, this is what I wanted to say.
mm-hmm.
So he's trying to spend $300 to save himself $400. Like, if he's paying the crew, he's giving these guys each $100 to do this gig to cover his $400 hit on the advertising money.
Yeah, so
unless he's paying them a day rate. If he's giving them a day rate of $100 and he knocks all the commercials out, then fine. But if you're doing a by commercial, he's only saving himself $100. Plus materials. You do have to buy some props.
Mm-hmm.
Gas
Good
money.
Point.
Food for the day.
True.
Sounds like a sunk cost fallacy to me.
Indeed. Nice.
Sounds like a sunk cost fallacy to me.
Good callback. Look at you. Look at you. That just earned Dave 2 points, so now it's 3-2. 3-2 in Dave's favor. I do like how he says, like, I'm the honest Jimmy. I can't suddenly be like, hey, I'm a sales guy.
Right.
Yeah. We see the Los Pollos Hermanos truck loading in some sort of facility. They're removing the floor. Kind of clever with, removing the floor panel, and then their drugs are packed in sawdust.
Well, all the equipment they brought out, I was like, are they building a meth lab? I thought that was like drug supplies. But no, all the illicit stuff is actually buried underneath the floorboards.
Mm-hmm.
Did you think that at all? Like the big tanks and all the other stuff was actually like drug supplies?
Well, let me get into that in a second. I'll tell you what I thought, because what I thought actually happened in a different circumstance as we go through this. So
okay.
So all right. So they're unloading the truck. Kind of clever. They have the plate glass sucker thingies, and they pull off the metal that's underneath the screwed plate on the floor, and they have all the drugs inside the sawdust.
That's to absorb moisture, Brian.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course. Yeah, you don't want to get it soggy. You don't want it to start clumping. That's for sure.
Exactly.
I guess pretty much what they're doing is giving samples to Hector, or like it's like a quality assurance test, I guess is what they're doing.
No, Hector's using the Los Pollos Hermanos trucks to transport his goods because he got robbed and his ice cream shop shut down.
Right, I guess he laid them out on the table to show that they're all the same size, because there was a question, are they all the same weight? And dude's like, well, pick any ones that you want, saying pretty much, weigh them, if you don't believe me.
Yeah.
Supposed to take 5. He takes 6. He gets a gun stuck in his face. Doesn't even flinch. Nacho doesn't even flinch.
Yeah, I thought he did flinch, no?
No,
Arturo
he just
stiffened up a bit, but Arturo seemed to be kind of calm.
Yeah,
Arturo was so calm to the point where I thought he was not with Nacho for some reason.
Yeah, well, Nacho though didn't even move. Like he just calmly stated, "Hector gets 6. I'm walking out of here with 6." And that's when the other guy makes the phone call to Gus, and Gus tells him to go ahead and give him the 6th one, and Mexican standoff averted.
Nacho's balls are dropping in this episode, is what I just realized. Like, his assertiveness is really picking up, which might lead to some other power struggles.
Maybe it's already been there. We just haven't seen it yet, because we haven't.
Well, we haven't seen them all freaking season,
right? But okay. So here's my notes for the Mexican standoff. I wrote Mexican standoff for Nacho, just a standoff. I don't know why I wrote it like that. And my wife goes, if you say that on the podcast, there's going to be at least one person out there who gets offended. And my response was, well, then I guess that person would probably just have to get a sense of humor.
But the thing is, if I may correct you with some semantics.
Okay, sure.
It's not quite a Mexican standoff because only one person has a gun. Reservoir Dogs is a Mexican standoff. Everybody's pointing a gun at the same time.
Okay.
When he's just being held up at this point.
I got you. Okay. All right.
So that's Brian 3, Dave 2, or Dave 3 then.
Here's where I thought it was going. So Gus picks up the phone, tells him that it's okay for Nacho to take Hector a 6th brick of drugs, right?
Right.
Both of these things happened in a facility or a warehouse. So when I saw the Los Pollos Hermanos truck pull up and they go through the whole rigmarole of getting the drugs out and they're in a factory, I was like, oh, well, that's the factory from Breaking Bad. You remember Breaking Bad? There was the laundry facility.
Yeah.
And they had like the little house underneath the washer and stuff. Uh-huh. That's when I was just like, oh, that's the drug facility from Breaking Bad. That's kind of cool. But then it pans out and it shows Gus was on the phone while looking at the actual laundry facility from Breaking Bad. So like, I jumped the gun and then I was like, wait a minute, is Gus? Did they call Gus and he was just at another part?
Yeah, he's upstairs.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But
no, because I thought, didn't they just take the stuff off the truck right to a table? Aren't they on the same plane?
It's like in the loading dock.
Yeah. So they wouldn't be downstairs. They're like in the loading dock. Yeah.
Yeah. We're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit because we jumped pretty much a couple scenes. So let's just back up and then we can go back and talk about it.
No, because I wrote it as immediately from that conversation. Then it goes to Gus and he's in the laundromat. We didn't skip anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Does it go right to the laundry room then?
Yeah, because it cuts from that end of that and Nacho leaving with it to Gus scoping out the laundromat. My note was, I wonder if he'll be buying that.
And then it's the sales. Okay, gotcha. Gus exits this facility after he's scoping. He even sees he even sees the laundry machine that's pushed up where the stairs obviously come into play.
That would make a great meth lab down there.
And he comes out and gets in a car with the presumed realtor, but I believe that's Lydia.
That's what I thought, and they revealed it as if they're revealing a Breaking Bad character.
Mm-hmm, totally. And it makes sense because she had some sort of connection with Gus in Breaking Bad, blah, blah, blah. It's a big leap towards Breaking Bad then.
Yeah, I think we're getting close.
Yeah, it has to be. Yeah. It has to be getting close. Cut to Chuck. He puts on a space hood, looking very much like Eminem in 8 Mile.
That's right. He decides to go walkabout.
Mm-hmm. I wasn't sure where he was going at. I'm like, oh, good for him. I thought he's kind of seeing his bullshit. He's like, all right, I'm gonna give this a shot. I survived holding a Rayovac battery. Hard to even say with a straight face. He survived. He survived the voltage of Rayovac batteries. Chuck puts on a space blanket, starts venturing out at night. Downtown Albuquerque's very fluorescent-y at night.
Yeah, there's plenty of electricity for him to test himself, because that's what I thought he was doing, was just testing if he can go walk about and not get all fucked up. So, yeah, with all the fluorescent lights and stuff, I'm sure there's plenty of electromagnetism going around.
Mm-hmm. Seems like he walked quite a ways just to use a payphone.
Well, yeah, they for one, that's the opening of the show, was the shot of the payphone, right? And nice. They are in steady decline ever since 2001.
Yeah. Dr. Laura Cruz. Do we know anything about Dr. Laura Cruz?
She was from the first season, I believe. She's the one that flipped on the bed when he wasn't paying attention, right? That Jimmy had to deal with, and he got the permission to take care of Chuck. Was that the doctor?
Wow, really? Nice.
I assume so, because I just remember there was a female doctor in the first season whose name I don't remember.
Oh, that's true. Okay, well, if
that was his doctor.
Well, if that's true, you just got another point. So, you have 2 points outstanding right now. Cut back to see Hector. He's meeting with Nacho. Hector's pretty pissed off that Nacho had a gun pointed to his head, and sits down with Nacho to discuss his plans. And he's pretty much saying, well, Gus has a legitimate business as a front. I want my own legitimate business as a front. Nacho's family happens to have a legitimate business. Therefore, Nacho should talk to his dad about going into business with Hector. So Hector has a legitimate business, but Nacho is like, whoa, dude, slow your roll.
Right.
My dad's not part of this business. He's a good man. He doesn't even know anything about any of this bullshit.
He's not in this lifestyle.
Right. And Hector is pretty much going to try to appropriate him nonetheless.
This is going to happen. I wrote, talk to your father. Or I can't do the Hector voice as well as you can.
Talk to your father.
There you go.
Which doesn't sound anything like Hector. It sounds more like a shitty robot, but still.
Import meth, bring to America.
For some reason, he sounds like he has hydraulics. He's just like,
well,
Talk
he will.
to your dad.
He will be half machine in a couple years.
Ding. We're gonna go ahead and give you 2 extra points for that one. So I think you're on like 5-2. So Hector kind of gets upset by Nacho kind of pushing back a little bit. He flips out, starts coughing, flips the table over, drops a pill. Nacho notices,
Wait, he didn't say why. He didn't say what caused Hector to flip out.
Wasn't it because Nacho was...
No, it was because Tuco knifed somebody in jail. And he's like, he's only supposed to do 6 months. Like, he was only supposed to be in jail for 6 months, but he knifed somebody and, like, beat up a guard or something.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Okay, awesome. I remember writing the notes, and I remember hearing he was only supposed to do 6 months, and I didn't catch what happened. So Tuco knifes somebody in jail,
yeah,
which
like,
makes
beat up a
Hector
guard.
flip out.
Because now he's going to be in jail longer, so now Tuco's going to be out longer because his sentence will get expanded. And that's when Hector flipped out.
Either way, he starts taking pills, drops one. Nacho notices, kind of conceals it with his foot for later use, presumably because now shit's getting a little too real for Nacho, because it was all fun and games when he could keep his family out of it, but now he's in a position where a very dangerous man is pretty much demanding that he brings his very docile father into a very dangerous business.
Right.
So in one fell swoop, Hector is now a giant threat to Nacho.
Which goes back to my preview with the prior when I said, who's the boss of who. I thought it was between Hector and Nacho. Well, that's becoming true. Now, they're seeing weaknesses in each other, and they're going to start poking at these weaknesses. So I'm assuming that the pill gets filled with ricin. I should save these for the preview show, I guess. But yeah, he's definitely going to poison him with a pill.
You think he'll yeah.
I think my note was Nacho's going to cause the stroke.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's what I have too. But I was sitting there trying to think, like, does poison cause a stroke? But I mean, I guess it may. If it's certain, I'm not an alchemist.
Maybe they just assume it was a stroke because he got so fucked up from whatever happens.
There you go. Okay, awesome. Gotcha. Okay, well,
or it's one of the things they like to do where they're going to do something completely different with it.
Yeah, interesting development nonetheless.
Yeah. Oh, very. This because I was honestly going through the episode, kind of like this isn't. You got like the hangover from last week's episode. It was super intense, and this one's it's setting up more stuff for the the last half of the season. But once this happened, then I got really excited, and I was like, oh, I got to see where this plot line goes.
Right on.
Yeah.
Back at Jimmy's apartment, which we need. I wish we could track down the guy that used to do like the Justice Friends. Like, meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice,
send him an email.
He's probably dead, man.
What about Big Voice Guy? What about Big Voice Guy from?
Epic Voice Guy.
Yeah, from Honest Trailers.
Honest Trailers. That guy.
Yeah. Meanwhile, back at Jimmy's apartment.
Yeah, he was cool. He'd do that for us. Yeah, right. So. You better go fuck you guys. All right. So back at Jimmy's, Kim's there. She wants to see the commercial because Jimmy's explaining that he's not selling the commercial. He's selling the services to create the commercial.
Right. And she thinks that's clever.
She's very lawyery of him. And she's almost kind of impressed, but she wants to see the commercials. And Jimmy's kind of actually hesitant. He's kind of like, I don't really want to show you. It's not my best work. But she kind of coaxes him into it. And we finally get to see Saul Goodman.
Yeah, right? Got a lot of energy.
I love his super shitty goatee.
I'm sorry. My favorite joke of the series. All the star wipes. I noticed that during the commercial, there's all these star wipes, and I'm like, that's like The Simpsons. Remember when Homer makes the tape for Ned Flanders? And he's like, we star wipe to Ned doing his taxes and star wipe to this. And Lisa's like, Dad, there's other wipes besides star wipes. He's like, why eat burgers when you can have steak?
He mentions, station manager said that's the most star wipes he's ever seen in a commercial. I'm the only person he's ever said that to.
So, and what I'm thinking is, I believe Bob Odenkirk wrote for The Simpsons, so I'm thinking he must have wrote that joke, and then put this joke into Saul Goodman,
If not, his brother Bill does. His
right.
brother Bill Odenkirk writes for The
Yeah,
Simpsons.
there's definitely a big Simpsons connection, so this is definitely a callback to us old school Simpsons fans.
Yeah,
super
absolutely.
Appreciative. Star wipe.
Yep. The whole time I was just watching his fake goatee, man.
Yeah, the disguise, I like the hat and the glasses, and the new
It'll be
character.
interesting. It'll be interesting to see how they handle. He can't suddenly go into like this big crazy sales guy, but he obviously has a very terrible disguise. So it'll be interesting to see if they have to reconcile that down the road.
Yeah, I wonder.
Mm-hmm.
But then. Yeah, but then I like, Kim was like, this guy's got a lot of energy.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, It's all good.
There's also, after it's done, Saul good. Yeah, she's. I couldn't tell if she was like flummoxed or in disbelief or impressed or was thinking, what the fuck is wrong with this guy?
I think she's gonna help talk him into using the pseudonym moving forward. Because the name struck her. She thought it was catchy. That's what I got from her. Was that, this is a good idea. Saul Goodman, now that's an interesting character.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Cool. Well, overall, I thought this was a good episode, a lot less intense than last week's, but definitely still setting a bunch of things up.
Yeah, it's the ebb and the flow, and this is the ebb, and then it'll start flowing again.
Pretty excited to see where Nacho's storyline goes.
Yeah, do you think he'll poison Hector this season or next season? Well, we'll talk about that in Preview with Pryor, I guess.
It'll probably be at the season finale. Like, that'll probably be part of it.
The penultimate episode. Remember, that's the one that gets crazy.
Yeah, it's always the one before the end that's always crazy. So, let us know out there what you thought of the episode, what you like, what you didn't like, how wrong Dave and I are. Was it scotch? Was it wine? Please make sure to hit up Twitter, the TV Time app, Facebook, email, you name it. However you can get a hold of us, please make sure to give us your comments, your ideas, your reactions, because we'll put those on Preview with a Prior every week, or at least the best ones. You usually get bonus points if you call us stupid somehow. You usually get bonus points.
And all you people that care about Preview with a Prior, the lyrics, I'm sorry, I don't remember names of people that tweeted about it. The lyrics of Preview with a Prior song is Chococo Ladies, which means hello, ladies, in Vietnamese. Mm-hmm. You can listen to our interview with Eileen Fogarty, who plays Mrs. Nguyen, who explained that to us because she speaks the language. And I just sampled it. I sampled that from Jimmy walking into the salon, yelling it.
Yeah, nice.
And those of you that are impatiently waiting for Preview of the Priors to come out, I appreciate that. Keep motivating me to do it because sometimes I get busy and I don't want to leave you guys hanging if you actually care about it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Make sure to check out Dave and I at the Nothing Important Podcast at nothingimportantpodcast.com, where we talk to people who are more famous and successful than we will ever be. You can check out Jeff and I coming up sometime this week at the Rickest Rick and Morty podcast called A Plumbus Among Us. Go ahead and subscribe to our Twitter at A Plumbus Among Us. You'll be able to listen to the first pilot episode. And as soon as we get our RSS link activated through iTunes, you'll be able to check us out on iTunes and subscribe as we go through the Rick and Morty series. Please make sure that you download the TV Time app on your smartphone. Talk to everybody who likes everything that you like. It's all in one convenient little program. It's a lot of fun. They're treating us great. We're getting a lot of great feedback from them. It's just overall a nice platform to be a part of. Make sure to check us out at thisallgoodman.com or at Twitter at ISGM Podcast. And Dave and I are always going back and forth with people on there. So chances are if you tweet us, you'll get some sort of response from us.
Yes. As much as we can. I'm not as active as you are.
That's right. So with that, Hope you enjoyed episode 306. Let's get ready for Preview with the Prior. That'll be out later this week. And then we'll move into episode 307. We're over halfway done. Season 3, Better Call Saul, is almost over. Make sure to listen to this week's Preview with the Prior, where I'm pretty sure we are going to have a contest for those of you in the United Kingdom, courtesy of one of our listeners. So you're definitely going to want to make sure to listen to that, you UK people, and try to win yourself some free swag. And with that, Dave?
Call us idiots, call us geniuses, whatever. Just call us.